Welcome back, guys, to another episode of Questbound Reader, where we fill up the good old bookshelf one book at a time. Guys, today we have a very special episode for me, and it is about The Wandering Inn. We're going to talk about the first three books in the series, so stick around and we will get right back into it. Alrighty, so The Wandering Inn. You guys already saw my video, the first one about the initial book. And I'm sure by now you guys have given it a like, a thumbs up, right? All the good stuff. So I won't bore you with the details. It is the introduction, right? The introduction to the world of The Wandering Inn. It is a vast, very, very vast world filled with magic, creatures, races, aside from the human race. So we have the drakes, we have the lizard folks, we have the wyverns, we have the trolls, we have the goblins, we have the gnolls, we have the dwarves, which we haven't gotten into yet, and when of course we have the humans. We probably have others that I haven't gotten into yet, but this is what I know so far. Guys, the introductory book was phenomenal. I gave it a 5 out of 5. It took me a little bit to get into it, but once I did, holy smokes, this is not a series you want to skip out on. I don't know if you guys have ever read a web serial. It was the first time I read one, and I've been doing it on the Kindle. They're super cheap. It's like $3 for each volume. But they have a website, thewanderinginn.com, if I'm not mistaken, where it's completely free. Just Google it, and you guys will find it there. Guys, this story is holy shiitake mushrooms. This is awesome in scope. All right, so we start off the premise of the story, right, is you have all these people from Earth that are magically poof, insert magic, transported, teleported to the world in the Wandering Inn, right, and across multiple different continents, huge cities, and it's kind of like a medieval think like Arthur and like Merlin kind of thing. It's like a medieval times period, but we have magic and we have magical creatures. So the fantastical elements are 100% a 5 out of 5, at least in my opinion. We have two main characters starting off, and it is Erin and Ryoka. And Erin she's a sweetheart. She's also an airhead. She tries really hard to fit in and to be nice to everyone, and she figures out that she can't just be nice to everyone. Then you have Ryoka, she's too smart for her own good, in my opinion, and she has an answer for everything. She's very hot headed and very like temperamental, the complete opposite of Aaron. And somehow, toward the latter end of the book, right? Spoilers. Toward the latter end of the book, they end up meeting and they form this sort of friendship. So, what happened? This is pretty much book one, right? You have loss of companions in book one. Tragedies happen. I'm not gonna get into the spoilers right now, right? So, but bad things do happen, and you transition to book two, titled "Fey and Fair." Wow, I thought book one was good. Book two was better. I don't know. I don't know. There's different tiers to like 5-star categories, but this is like 5-star, like plus. This book was awesome in my opinion. Like it improved in, again, and this is subjective to what I think. It improved a lot on what the first book missed out on. And I said I gave the first one a 5 out of 5. I think I gave it a 4 out of 5 or a 4.5 out of 5. The second one was actually a 5 out of 5. And this improved, in my opinion, in the way the author wrote, which to me, I'm not a huge like, oh, how do they write their prose or the technicals of their grammar. I'm not big into that. I don't need super fancy words or anything like that. I just want to read and have a good time while I read. I don't need to listen. I have headaches with work all the time. I don't need to have them while I read either. So I don't mind reading simple books like these. They're very nice and very easy and very friendly and accessible to all readers of all different ages. So it's fun every once in a while to have a break in between the more complex books and read something like this. So the writing style here to me was improved a little bit, right? It didn't repeat phrases as often. It captured, right, your senses more than the first book, and that was a welcomed surprise for me. In this book, we meet again. Aaron and Ryoka are the main characters, but we have more points of view. We meet new friends here that we had in the other at the end of the other book, but they're more, they have more oomph in this book, right? You get more point of view from like Rags, who's a goblin, or you get point of view from like Saria, who is a half elf. You definitely still have Ryoka and Aaron. You get point of view from a clown. This guy, I forget his name. I always forget his name. I'm horrible with names. But his whole thing is he's a clown, and not a happy clown either. He starts murdering a whole bunch of things. So it's super cool because this book gives you what you look for in most books, right? It gives you mystery, it gives you suspense, it gives you like action upon action, it gives you moments that are really sad. And then we're all the way into the third book. And into the third book, I literally just finished reading it. Today's what? Friday, on Thursday, yesterday. And my gosh, I loved it. The Flowers of Ethelm. Ethelm? I'm very bad pronouncing names. Since I don't have this scripted, I don't have the name of it right in front of me, which I probably should have for future hindsight. Um, anyway, this book, yikes. Like, five plus plus. This book this book dealt with very heavy themes. You still had Aaron and Ryoka, and you had Lionette making parts of the main arc of the story. But you also had a few stories where there's this girl, and this is a spoiler section. So if you haven't gotten here, just block this out. It'll be like a minute or two. But there was a point where you had this girl and a band of the Red Fang Goblins, and you had Torin the skeleton. And Torin here was kind of like a villain, and he was just killing everything. And you had the goblins who in across the entire story have been bad, right? They've just murdered and butchered. And then you had this human girl who's mute, and she's a florist. And there's a war in Eshelm, and they the goblins end up protecting the girl, and the girl ends up losing part of her humanity for extra due to extra Y events, and they end up fighting with each other to protect each other against humans. So the humans were attacking her because she was different, and the goblins were protecting her. And it really made you wonder, like, who are the monsters? Are humans the monsters, or are the goblins and other races the monsters that humans think they are? So to me, it was crazy. Like, it it really made it feel like, these other races are at moments much more humane or human liked than the actual humans of the world were. And that for me was a really like strong point. Like, I thought, wow, this book really, really like hit a spot. And you see the beauty that is the world of the Wandering Inn. And I think, kudos to Pirate Abba. You have done an incredible, incredible job writing this third book. I literally started the fourth book today, Winter Solstice, and I can't wait to get through it. I had in my TBR, I said that I was going to start Assassin's Apprentice. um, I have to read this fourth book, or at least get partly through it before I do anything else. Like, it is just calling to me, and it's like I feel like I really do have to get into this book, guys. Um, you get a lot of points of view in this third book from Ryoka and her interactions with Magnolia. You have epic fighting scenes in this book, and you have sad moments too, right? Very sad moments with the side characters that you wouldn't have thought, like in 3 or 4 chapters you would develop such a connection to side characters, but you do. And then you have victories and triumph with Pisces and the new horns of Hammerheld, right? You have Saria, Pisces, Evlon, the Kissamor, KSMR. I don't know how to say his name. I really don't. The Antinium. Um, you guys have such awesome points of views and epic fight scenes that you're like, oh, there's no way these guys are gonna make it out, and they make it out. So the book is incredible, guys. I don't know what you're doing with your life if you have not read The Wandering Inn. Please go read the books. You guys are not going to regret it. The books are literally awesome. Like, very few books, very few books will make you feel this way. This type of feeling, So give it a shot, guys. Read the first one. If you're iffy about it, or if you give it at least a 3 star, read the second one. It only gets better. This is addicting. I blame you, Matt Fantasy Book Reviews. I've said it before. I blame you for my addiction with this series. It's so good, man. Guys, Thanks for sticking around. I hope to see you in the next episode. Stay tuned. And like always, we will keep it 10 minutes or less.